What is going on, Mountaineer basketball fans, college basketball fans? Here we are, the day we all love, Selection Sunday, and Mountaineer Paul and I are here. We're going to be live through this process to see where these teams fall in these brackets, and we're going to talk about it as it happens. Paul, how you doing this evening?
Doing good, man. I was trying to turn my phone on silent so it doesn't ring during this thing. I'm doing good, man. Expecting anything from a 6 to a 9. I think that's where most of our expectations lie. Um, we'll see what happens. I know where I want to go.
Yeah, I'm up in the air on it. I don't know that I have there are a couple teams I'd like for us to avoid, but at the same time, I'm just happy we're here, to be honest with you. It's been a while, right?
Since 21.
Well,
But that didn't really count.
It's been like, well, it's been 2 years. It ain't been that long, really, but
that's a long time.
we're used to being here every year. You know, when you
That's
go through
right.
a March, and I'll be honest with you, when it's March Madness and West Virginia's not in the mix, I'm less interested. I'll just be honest. I have a harder time.
Yeah, I think that probably goes for a lot of people.
I still watch, but I don't watch with as much. I don't watch as much.
Right.
I really only watch the the bigger games, the later games mainly.
Yeah.
But it's definitely I'm definitely going to watch with a lot more interest than I would have in the past if they weren't in it. What's up, Jacob Yoho? We got Tide Guy, Jacob Yoho. Music Kills Me, Curtis D, Krista Sisson. God, I hope I got that name right.
It's either Sisson or Sisson, one of the two.
BB on here. Eric Flowers. Earlier we had Pat 08 Mullins on here, said he couldn't watch because he had to watch with his father-in-law, but he hoped we had a great show.
Here it is. I mean, it's on. It just came on.
Yeah, I got you.
Well, I'll tell you this. Wow, they got a lot of watch parties going on around the country, don't they?
Oh, they're everywhere, man. About every YouTuber out in America is live right now. Even football channels are live. People that don't even cover college football are live for this.
Yeah.
I mean,
I made a YouTube post about it. I told everybody to remember who's covered his team for 30 games. Little shameless plug.
Yeah, it's all good. Anybody that can't watch it live, they can catch us on the replay. So.
Yeah.
But the infamous Greg Gumbel, or I should say the famous Greg Gumbel, Clark Kellogg, Jay Wright.
There's a coach that's going to be linked to some openings this year in the offseason, Jay Wright. I think he's going to get tossed around. He's a young guy.
But do you think he wants back in it, though?
They all want back in it, almost always.
What made you think? Why do you think he left? I mean, he left because he wanted to spend time with his family, right? I mean, wasn't that the reason?
Yeah, that usually lasts for about a year. in a lot of cases, you know what I mean? But
yeah, you're right.
He could very well be content. He could pull the Bill Cowher. But the Bill Cowher happens less often than any other kind of coach you want to mention that's retired, whether it be Mac Brown or anybody. You see it.
Mm-hmm. Got Jeffrey Foster says, "Are you guys creating a group on ESPN Bracket Challenge?" I'm glad you brought that up. We actually are. We were going to talk about that later. That way we can all play against each other. We are. We're going.
What's up, Game Shark Chuck?
We're going to make it fun, Jeff. We're going to put a little bit of skin in the game, man. A little bit of money in,
on
the line. What's that?
Alabama's the number 1 seed.
They are.
That's what it just said.
Here we go. South region, baby.
All right, Southeast Missouri State Redhawks.
This is where we could end up. Let's keep an eye on this here.
Uh-oh.
You're ahead of me.
This would be wild. I'm ahead of you.
Yeah, because the 16 hasn't been revealed to me yet. That's gonna make this tricky. Texas A&M, Southeast Missouri State. Texas A&M, what's Corpus Christi?
Maryland, just like they've been. Do you want me to wait, or what do you want me to do?
I don't care. Just
Maryland's in the 8.
Just if you see West Virginia, don't say anything until I see it. If you can help it, if you can hold the excitement, because you're ahead of me by probably about 30 seconds.
Let me know when you see Maryland.
Maryland now 21-12 on the season, number 8 seed. There's a good shot we can end up with this next slot. I've seen it in a couple of different. Matter of fact, I think that's where Lenardi had us on his last one, wasn't it? Here we are, baby. Number 9 seed, Maryland in Birmingham.
This is what I wanted us to land in, guys. I really feel like Alabama is ripe for the picking. I know Todd Guy disagrees with me, and that's fine. But I feel like now that Sasser is out for Houston, maybe you could say Houston is vulnerable. But as of right now, this bracket, Virginia is the 4th seed. San Diego State and Charleston are in this bracket along with Furman. Mm-hmm. Alabama's the only team that can beat us in this bracket, right?
You don't think, what about Maryland? You don't think Maryland's going to be a tough out?
I mean, they what did they finish in the ACC?
You mean Big Ten?
Oh God, yeah, I'm tripping at it.
That's all right. Let me look it up and I'll tell you.
Ooh, Creighton.
I've got my phone here beside me. So
Creighton's a 6. It looked like Creighton was going to be a lot bigger. Game Chalk Chuck says West Virginia's in the play-in game.
They finished.
Yes,
6th in the Big Ten with an 11-9 league record.
We're 2
Mizuki heals me.
What?
West Virginia has played Oklahoma, which we slaughtered them at one point in time. Oklahoma slaughtered Alabama by 30 points. That's really the only common denominator that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But the way Alabama's played the last 2 nights,
yeah,
they've looked good. I'm not going to lie. And they probably have one of the 3 best players in the tournament. So.
Oh yeah, they're going to be a tough out, no doubt. They're a good team, and they're rolling right now.
Man, those are 2 really good teams in our bracket. 3.
Baylor.
Okay, this is the hard part of the bracket. Yeah. Creighton, NC State, Baylor, UC Santa Barbara, Missouri is playing really good basketball right now. Utah State, and Arizona. That's tough.
Let's see who the 2 is going to end up in this bracket. So far, we've got 2 Big 12 teams.
Did you guys see Courtney Ramey hit that walk-off last night after struggling?
He hadn't made a shot the entire night, dude, and made the game-winning 3-pointer.
Yeah. Princeton is a traditional tough out in the tournament.
They are. Well, it used to be because of the way they played, but do they still play with that same style that they used to play with?
No, they don't have that same coach anymore.
Arizona's a 2 in that bracket. That's a tough one, man. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about Baylor coming out of this bracket, Arizona, followed by probably Alabama and then us, right? That's just off the top of my head. Some people might say Creighton. Yes. Maybe I'm discounting Maryland too much. I don't know. Missouri is another really good team.
Virginia's a tough game too because of that pack line defense that they play. But I think this year we actually match up better against them because normally we get most of our points inside. And this year we're better at shooting the ball. So hopefully if we would have to play Virginia down the road, I think we'd match up better against them than we would have in the past.
There are going to be tougher brackets though. I do believe that. I think we didn't get the toughest one. So whoever's in Kansas's bracket is in the toughest bracket, in my opinion.
So they gave Alabama the number 1 overall seed in the tournament?
No, they couldn't be in the overall tournament. It's hard to know without volume.
Very true. Somebody leave that in the comments. If somebody that's actually watching it, tell us in the comments, was Alabama the number 1 overall seed or just the number 1 seed in the South region?
Alabama played Jeremy Corey. Alabama played Oklahoma
and got smoked.
Yeah,
Oklahoma smoked them.
That they did. But maybe Todd Guy can provide some insight on that if he's still in here. I don't know. Obviously, that game was the exception and not the rule for Alabama. Miller, after watching him in the last 2 games, I haven't got to watch him all year until the SEC tournament. He is a lottery pick. He's going to be a lottery pick. Now, there's a lot of people that don't like him because of stuff he's been involved in off the court, but we're not going to get into that. That has nothing to do with really what's going to happen with Virginia. I don't think so, or I'm not going to get into that. Let me say that. So, all I know is on the court, he can do it all, man. He can do anything.
Yep. I didn't even look at the date of our game. Is it Thursday? Do we play Thursday? Paul?
I didn't see, man. I'm on a commercial now.
Yeah, me too. Jeffrey Foster says, from what I understand, on 365 Sports, they were talking to one of the bracket people, and they had Alabama's #1 overall in the tournament. Most of the stuff I've read had, and that's fair. There's like 102 different bracketologists out there, so I'm sure they all have different opinions. But
I'm not going to lie, that's the first time I've heard that.
The one I read said Kansas would likely be, even though they lost to Texas.
Yeah, now maybe that Texas loss knocked them out of there. I didn't think about that. It's very possible. Alabama won their tournament and won it handily today, and Kansas lost theirs in the championship game.
Mm-hmm. What's up, Leo? How you doing?
But I do know Texas will probably be the #1 overall 2 seed. So
should be.
They're basically going to have a.
And how can you, dude? They got a decision to make. How do you not keep Rodney Terry after that? After what they just did.
I think it depends on how they perform in the tournament. Still, you know what I mean. You're only going to be remembered for what you do, and it really matters. And I think if they go out and lose in the first round, then maybe, But overall, from what he's done from start to finish, I agree with you. He's done really good.
Cole, what you missed basically, and I don't know if you're watching the bracket thing live, but West Virginia's got the 8 seed in the South region, and we'll be playing. I'm sorry, the 9 seed in the South region, and we'll be playing the number 8 seed Maryland in the first round, and if in Birmingham, Alabama. And if we win that game, we have to go on to play the winner. We'll be playing Alabama, who plays the 16 seed. Of course, we'll have to play them in Birmingham, but that's the number 1 seed always gets home court advantage, or gets closer to the venue. That's just part of being a 1 seed. But that's so far that's all you've missed, at least from us.
Does anybody know what's up with Marcus Sasser with Houston? How bad his injury was?
I read that they said he might actually be back by the tournament.
If that's the case, they're going to be dangerous.
By the way, real quick before I forget, I want to say that I read today that Bill Self is going to be back for the tournament. He's home now, been released from the hospital. He apparently had some stents put in his heart. I don't think it was a full-blown heart attack. He was just having some chest pain, and they had to go in and put some stents in. So glad he's doing better. Glad he's recovered and going to be able to coach his team. That was some good news from today.
Yeah, it was. Northern Kentucky.
So
you know what? I got an idea.
Pat Mullins is back on here.
What's up, Pat? You know what I'm going to do, Couz? I'm going to pause it until a certain point, so maybe we can catch up with each other.
Well, I mean, the people that are watching this might be watching it at the same rate. I don't know if it's going to depend on whether they're streaming it or watching on cable.
Right.
So, but I see
that's going to be a fun matchup.
I see Houston got the 1 seed in the Midwest.
Gosh, are you that far behind me, really? It's 30 seconds, at least a good 30 seconds.
They've showed the Northern Kentucky one already. Iowa 8. That's where I'm at now.
Okay. Yeah, we're not that far, like 15.
Yeah, I mean, it's a few second delay. Auburn. Good deal. Thursday. The game is Thursday, by the way. I just saw it on the bottom of the screen.
That's Miami. They got in a tough spot.
Well, and one of their star players is injured too, so it's going to be interesting to see if he recovers. There was a lot of injuries in these conference tournaments, man, and it was all star players too, mainly that went down. Yeah. It wasn't like it was scrubs.
Agreed.
Drake, ooh, that could be a 12-5 upset right there.
And here's a 13-4 that can be an upset as well. The way Indiana's a 4 seed, they in this bracket.
Yeah.
They kind of backed into the tournament. Oh, wow, shocker. That's a shocker. The 6th seed in this tournament. That is a shocker. Was
You're
not
already at the
expecting
6th?
that. Yeah. And
Well,
oh my God. No. No. Man, I wish we were watching this at the same time.
Me too, because I have no clue what you're talking about.
Well,
I will in a second. Iowa State, it's a 6. Okay.
yeah, that was a shocker to me. But next is, man, I'll tell you what, Lenardi's got every prediction right so far. Let me just say that.
Mississippi State Pitt play-in game. Is that what you were?
Yeah, it just shows how close they were to being out. If one more team steals the bubble, they don't make it. I'll tell you what, Mississippi State started out 11 or 12-0 and really played terrible down the stretch and backed into this.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised they made it.
You said you were surprised about Iowa State. What are you surprised they're that high or that low?
I'm surprised they're a 6th seed, yeah.
Would you
19 wins.
Where'd you think they would be? Lower?
I thought they were going to land in the 7-8 spot in this bracket. 7 or 8, 7. I thought they were going to land in the 10-7 matchup right here where Texas A&M is.
Okay.
You can't tell me Texas A&M doesn't deserve that 6th spot over Iowa State, but that's fine. You know, it's just only 1 seed.
See, this right here is what I like, man. These schools like Kennesaw State hasn't been in the tournament in like 20 years. Those kids are so happy, man. That's cool to see. That's what March
now
Madness is
look,
all
the
about.
two can quit bickering at each other. Penn State and Pitt fans can quit bickering at each other. They've been doing it all week long for the last 2 weeks, talking about who deserves to be in. Well, now they're both, even though Penn State can say they're more in than Pitt is. There it is. Wow.
Yeah, Penn State got a 10, I see. I tell you what, man, they just about pulled off a miracle.
They did, and I wonder where they would have landed with that if they'd have won that game today. Probably wouldn't have changed a whole lot.
Probably not. It's from what I'm seeing here, it doesn't look like these conference tournaments are making much of a difference. I don't know, except maybe for Texas.
For Kansas. Well, Kansas.
Texas moved up to a 2. Were they already a 2 though?
Yeah, they were already a 2. But Kansas was in every going into yesterday. Kansas was the number 1 overall seed from everybody I'd heard or read. But yeah, we do play Thursday. By the way.
Yeah, I saw that. So far we've got West Virginia, Iowa State, Baylor, Texas, West Virginia, Baylor, Iowa State. Kansas hasn't been revealed yet, have they? I mean,
no, but you can count them. Yeah. And who are we missing?
Oklahoma State's really the only one. Oklahoma State's the only one that's a question mark. So if we get, we're going to have 7 or 8.
Well, I don't think they're going to. They might get in the next bracket. They might get a play-in game, like Pitt, Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, TCU. That's who we're missing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Leo Cole.
Yeah, I always forget about them for some reason in basketball. I don't know why.
They're forgettable, except they've got, what would you say, one of the 5 best players in the tournament on their team? If we really sat and marked them as best players in the tournament down, would he be a top 5 player? Mike Miles?
I don't know, man. It's hard to rank them because there's so many good ones.
Yeah.
I mean, you could definitely make the argument. No, we don't know the time, Mullins. We don't know the time or the channel yet. I don't think they've released it yet.
It'll be one of like 30 channels.
Yeah. True TV, CBS.
True TV, CBS.
Yeah. PW Riggs says we're in a hard spot.
I disagree, man.
I think we're okay. But, as an 8 seed, let's just be honest, as a 9 seed, you're really not, there's not a good spot for you. I mean, I think the 8-9 game is one of the hardest games to play in this tournament. to be honest with you.
And we get a rivalry game in the
Yeah.
tournament in Maryland, right? And this is an old school rivalry for us. They've typically been a better basketball school than us over the years. Now, over the last 20 years, I've leaned towards us. But going into the early 2000s, they were a basketball powerhouse.
Right.
And we had some really good games. Yeah, with Gary Williams. Won a national championship with one Dixon in 2003. So those were really fun teams to watch in Maryland. And you know, they need this run to get back into relevancy as a basketball school because that's really what they are, in my opinion.
Yeah. He said he's talking the second game. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Alabama's going to be a tough game. But I still like our chances with them because now, look, I'm not ready to break the game down yet because I'll be frank with you. I haven't watched Alabama play a full game yet. So I need to go watch some highlights and some film on them. But just looking at what Oklahoma did to them, strictly looking at that, if Oklahoma can beat them by 30, I don't see why we can't beat them. Now, they may have had a really bad night, and Oklahoma may have had the night of their life, so that matters. But
right.
But
well,
as far
the
as
second best player on the floor.
Yeah, I'm not ready to talk about matchups yet because I haven't watched them play. But you think, Paul, have you watched Alabama play?
Yeah, I watched both of their tournament games.
Do you think we match up well against them?
They've got one player that could really do us in, and Miller. And not only is he probably going to be definitely a top 3 pick in the draft, he can shoot it from 40 feet out. He's just like Jalen Wilson. He's very similar to him, but not as good a rebounder. But he does everything else Jalen Wilson can do except for rebound at the rate that he does. He's a matchup nightmare, and he is their Eric Stevenson. They feed off him emotionally. He is a freshman, but they feed off him emotionally, and he's in the running for a National Player of the Year. So let's not get it twisted. They've got a good basketball team, but they've had some controversy, and I think that caused them to stumble a little bit this year. They got swagger though, and I think that we're going to butt heads. I think Stevenson's going to butt heads with a lot of their guys. But there are certainly, you go look at my Twitter right now. As of 4 or 5 hours ago, I wished for us to get this game. I felt like they were the most desirable number 1 seed to play in this tournament. That includes Houston down Sasser. I just feel like they're the most beatable number 1 seed out there. Maybe they'll go out and blow us out when we play them, if we play them.
Right.
But I truly I wanted this game, so we'll see what happens. I think we can beat them.
All right, here we go. Kansas, number 1 in the West.
And that's good for them.
I'm sure you already know that. Well, they're not. See, they didn't put them in. Well, that's because they're not the number 1 overall seed, but they're not getting to play in Kansas City, are they?
Right.
I guess
Ooh, that's a good game. That's one thing about the tournament, man. You get to see teams play you'd never see play that are in the same region but never play each other.
Right.
Like this game, Arkansas and Illinois. They're not too far apart.
I really think our guys are going to come out because they've said themselves they're tired of playing Big 12 teams. So I think they're going to come out excited and ready to play in this tournament. I really do. Ooh,
I agree with that.
And Arkansas, Illinois, that is a really good matchup. I like that matchup. Eric Stevens said at the press conference. He said I'll be honest. He said we're ready to play somebody outside the Big 12. And he said that.
And now we're going to get to
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
And that's all I hoped for was before the Sweet 16, just let us play somebody outside of our conference. Once you get down to 16, there's another Big 12 team. TCU got a 6 seed.
Golly,
wow. But yeah, so the way I look at it, if we win 2 games, we make the Sweet 16. And I think Hugs, maybe he'll get some of that, what do you want to call it, Couz? Some of that mystique, some of that aura that he had around him that a lot of fans have frankly just lost.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it on Twitter today. People were criticizing him, even though Even though we lost 91% of our production from last year.
I can't deal with that mess.
Yeah.
How in the world can you sit here and say that what he did this year was not a success? Anybody that says that hasn't been paying attention, in my opinion.
And what he's doing in the portal right now as well, getting good players.
Some of our fans are there's nothing. The only thing that's going to make some of our fans happy is the national championship. I'll be honest with you,
or at least the Final Four, yeah.
And that's probably unrealistic expectations, man. Just to be frank with you.
Well, I mean, according just to the seeding, right. Unrealistic expectations are for us to win the first game.
I mean, in general.
No, I'm agreeing with you. Right. Yeah. No, you're right.
But I mean, after what we went through last year and the way this season started, how can they not be happy about just getting in the tournament? I mean, I don't understand it, man. I really don't.
Yeah, I can. I mean, you can point to the 0-5 stretch and say, "What if you go 2-2, and then let's say you go 2-3 during that stretch. What's our seeding look like then?" I mean, yeah, I see their top points in the year. You lose a 10-point lead at Xavier on the road. You lose a double-digit lead against Texas Tech at home. I mean, there are times and places to point to the season where you can say, "Hey, what happened there, coach?" Mm-hmm. I'm not saying he's undue of any criticism or constructive criticism, but overall, when you look at the totality of it, and this team had our backs against the wall after an 0-5 start in conference. That's almost a death sentence, because I think it was how many conference losses? I think we either tie or maybe even beat the most conference. We did. We beat by one. The most conference losses for a Big 12 team to ever get in as of right now with what just happened. So, that's kind of good and bad.
Yeah. I mean, I understand we didn't do great in conference, but like you said, we lost 91% of the production from last year. And now you can say that's on him. You could. I guess that's fair. But I'll be honest with you. I think the guys we replaced him with are better. I'll just be frank.
Outside of Taz, yeah.
Outside, yeah. I was thinking about the transfers, namely, but yeah.
Oh.
Now you can make an argument that Jalen Bridges is better than Emmett, maybe, but I don't know that I don't think he is if you put him in Hug's system.
No, I think Emmett's proven he's a better player this year.
You could say Jalen's a better offensive player than Emmett, maybe, but I don't think he's anywhere near.
He's certainly more aggressive.
Yeah, I don't think he's anywhere near Emmett on the defensive side.
No, nor as an athlete, dunking the way Emmett dunks and pump handle dunks and some of the stuff he does.
Hats off. So, what do you think about that potential TCU Gonzaga matchup?
I think that's a tough matchup for TCU.
I agree.
Because you lose your second best player, right, in Eddie Lampkin. And now who are you gonna deal with? His name slips my mind real quick. One of the best players in the country that plays for Gonzaga down low.
Drew Timme.
But Drew Timme. Now, how are you going to deal with Drew Timme without Eddie Lampkin?
Yeah.
Drew Timme's a walking double-double. Now, Mike Miles maybe cancels that out. But overall, that's going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're not subscribed to Hoops from the Hills, do us a favor and hit that subscription button. We've been covering this team for 30 games. No, we did not make a video about every single game, but we did get the majority. And we will cover every single game of this tournament. Win, lose, or draw. Hopefully that's a few. Don't forget to like this video and also interact with us after this live is over, guys. If you're watching this video after the live, drop us a comment down below and have a dialogue with us, man. We'll answer back. We're really good about doing that for the most part. And we like to try to chat with each and every one of you guys, and we really appreciate you.
Yeah, Paul and I, Ian's, yeah. That goes with the theme of our channel, right? Hoops from the Hills.
Yeah.
Cole says he would take Emmett over JB.
Yeah, and Emmett just was more proud to be a Mountaineer too. I think there's that aspect of it too.
Mm-hmm.
That endears him to me.
Yep. I agree, Curtis. They definitely have to with their turnovers, man. You can't turn it over 20 times in an NCAA tournament game and expect to win.
Well, and that's the thing about the tournament is it kind of lends itself to that a little bit. You get very few days to prepare for the game. Usually, it's a team you probably never played, or at least haven't in a long time. So it can either go one of two ways. You can really execute your game plan because they don't know what you're doing, or you can really mess it up because of the pressure. When you look up and down this roster, outside of Eric Stevenson and Joe Toussaint, there's not a whole lot of tournament experience on this roster. Maybe Emmett had some way back when, but so stuff like that really starts to become important. But I think the battle axe that the Big 12 is the pressure in each game. Like I've literally, it's equivalent to the SEC in football and how they beat each other up so badly week in and week out. But I think worse in the Big 12 basketball season. So I think every Big 12 team is equipped to handle extreme pressure. I'm not even just being biased. I really do believe that about this conference this year. Other years, I felt like it was overblown a little bit, but this year, I'm pretty convinced.
But if we don't do well in the tournament as a conference, we're going to hear it from everybody. You know that.
And we deserve to, really. I mean, you know, what is going to be success? What is your definition of success for the Big 12 this year? What's that look like? Is it we get 4 teams in the Final Four? Is it, you know, 2? Is it 1? Is it just one team like it has been win the national championship? At the end of the day, if that happens, everybody has to shut up, right? It's just like with the SEC. You know, there's been points where they've only it'd be 3 in a row. You know, and you start talking about,
and it would be 4 in a row that we had a team in the championship game.
Yeah,
because Texas State lost it in 2020 2020.
And then we had the year the tournament was canceled as well, when we had some really good teams that year as well.
Yep.
But that's speculation.
Cole
Here's a dangerous team.
Cole says Jalen changed after he got the pepperoni roll money.
Yeah. Hey, look. I got the pleasure of watching both these teams today. I know I'm ahead of you, but Memphis and Florida Atlantic are the 8-9 seed in the East region. Florida Atlantic is the real deal. They're a really good basketball team, and I think very much so can win against Purdue in the second round if that's who they play. I don't see Memphis beating them. I think Memphis is a good team. They beat Houston today. But I think Florida Atlantic at 31-3, they're really good. And they beat UAB, the team that we played early in the year. They throttled them by almost 30 today.
To me, that's a high seed for them, based on the conference.
Oh, they're that good. They're that good, yeah. I mean, really was hoping to see UAB get in.
Yeah, 31 wins is no slouch. Well, if UAB with Pitt getting in, I don't think UAB's getting in.
No,
I don't think.
And you know what, guys? I mean, Pitt they had a pretty good year. I mean, I hate to ever say anything good about them. I really do, and I wanted them not to make it more than anything, really. But now that they're here, I'm not going to say they don't deserve it. They played pretty well overall.
That's right.
Outside of the loss to us, they really didn't have another game like that. They lost some games, but I don't remember them getting stumped like they get against us.
See, Duke's a 5, and I think I thought I saw Lenardi had him at a 4, didn't he?
Wow.
One of his.
Well, Oscar's in the tournament. Oscar is back in the tournament.
Well, good for him.
Yeah. That's a shame. I can't wait till he moves on so I can start thinking about Kentucky other than Oscar Tshiebwe. Ooh.
Yeah. I have nothing against him. I mean, I didn't like that he left in the middle of the season, but after hearing his side of the story, I kind of understood it.
Yeah.
He was just super unhappy. And it was actually affecting his mental health, I think. So
another Big 12 team, Kansas State. That's 7.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be all that gets in unless we see Oklahoma State sneak in. And trust and believe if Oklahoma State win.
Well, if you saw them, you'd already be seeing them probably because it's the last. This is the last of the bracket, right?
Well, we got a 10-7 matchup right here. They probably wouldn't, if they were going to make it, they'd be this 10.
Well, I thought they would be a play-in game for an 11 or a 12. More
Probably.
so.
You're probably right, but I mean, honestly, just from a roster standpoint, they're 100% for sure better than 20 teams in this bracket.
Probably so.
So, I mean, they are. And, I mean, in my opinion, they're better than USC. They're better than Michigan State. They're better than Montana State. They're better than Providence and Kentucky. They are. But they're not going to get in because it's just the way things shook out, you know. They finished higher than we did in conference.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's really unfortunate for Oklahoma State. I feel like they deserve to get in. The folks are good enough, but unfortunate. Mike Boynton and his guys will have to try again next year. I don't know, Randall.
USC's a 10. That's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know why. I thought the same thing. It's because we knew we were in. We didn't need a reaction.
What'd he say? Well, they don't have West Virginia on the TV.
Yeah, why don't they have our reaction? Yeah. I agree. Oklahoma State's better than Pitt.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, but I didn't want to sound like I was at sour grapes. Because I don't guess they can show everybody.
They showed everybody but us those first 8 teams. I thought that was pretty weird. But maybe we weren't ready. I don't, you know, who knows? Maybe we didn't have a camera set up or something. You never know.
Or they didn't let them in. Who knows?
Huggins could have said, "No, we don't want to do it."
Yeah, he's done it in the past though, so I have a hard time thinking that's the case.
He's the players' coach. Wow, Marquette gets a 2 seed.
Yep, they did. Well, they deserved it, dude. The way they played in the conference tournament, they're on a roll right now. That's one team I would not want to play right now.
We almost played them this year.
No.
I think what they do lose, or did we lose that prevented it from happening? It was that first thing we were in this year when we played.
Tournament. Yeah, the one we played Purdue and Xavier in. Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah. They were in it. And they lost early as well. So that's how it shook out. You know, Big Ten and SEC get 8 out of their 14 teams apiece, and we get 7 out of 10.
Yep. So we got the highest percentage of teams in than anybody.
Look at that. Oklahoma State was the first 4 out. Wow. The first of the first 4 out. And look at their net ranking. Three out of the 4 teams that got in the first 4 in, they have a higher net ranking than. North Carolina was out. Oh, wow. I just now realized that.
Yeah.
Clemson didn't make it, nor did Rutgers. And I think a lot of people expected Rutgers to get in.
They did. Wow.
And I don't know how they justified Arizona State, but
how do you? I mean, Pitt and Arizona State have 67 and 66. I don't get. Which I know the net's not the only thing they look at, but
well, I think they were looking for balance too. When you're doing this, you have to trim the fat somewhere, and if you let 80% of the Big 12 get in, I think people start to criticize that. It's just one of them things where you have to make concessions for other conferences as a whole, and I don't know if that's right or wrong. It's hard to be in their spot, when you're looking at the whole aspect of the tournament, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess. Well,
it goes against my point, but
yeah. Well, while we got you guys still on here, we are going to do a bracket contest. We are going to for $5 per bracket. If you send
there will be winners.
You can send $5 to my. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and put.
I'm also going to add my photo ID to this. If anybody has any hesitation, I'll do that. Probably just cover up my address, but so if anybody needs, any further, if they're not comfortable with it, we understand that. But at the end of the day, however many people enter, we would like there to be a first and second place winner. I would like there to be. I don't know. We haven't really talked about it, the details, but for sure, at least a first place winner. And, you know,
What is
the
your
majority of the money will be going to them. The house will get some too, I guess. I don't
yeah?
know.
What'll be your what's your cash tag handle? Your cash tag?
Mine?
Yeah.
ROCKEL 85.
All right, I've got my cash tag, Paul's cash tag, and my Venmo, my PayPal up in the chat box right now. If you guys want to get in, as soon as you send us $5, we will in return send you the group name and the password to get on the ESPN app. Put in your bracket, but you've got to make sure you use your real name when you put in when you set up a username on ESPN. You have to use your real name, or we won't know who you are. And if we don't know who you are, we can't pay you if you win. So make sure you do that.
Do you want to give them a phone number, or can they just do it through Cash App?
No offense. I don't want to give anybody my personal phone number, but
I'll give mine out. I have two numbers. So.
Cash App should be fine. I mean, and they can reach me they can DM me on Twitter or Facebook as well if they want to reach me that way.
All right.
Same for you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Same.
And my
thing.
email, guys, remember, I've got if you go to my YouTube channel page, my Couz's Corner page, I don't think it's on this one, but if you go to my Couz's Corner page, I think my email's in there somewhere. So email me if you need to, whatever. But yeah, I've got it set up through ESPN. I've already set the group up called Hoops from the Hills. I've set up a code, or a password. All you've got to do is put that password in. It lets you in. You make your bracket. And if you make a bracket that you didn't pay for, we're going to see it, just so you know. So there's a little bit of trust here that we're giving you guys. And I've done these before, and 99% of the time, nobody ever. Matter of fact, I don't think I've ever had anybody try to cheat me, to be honest.
Right.
But we will be tracking everybody that sends us.
We got 45 people in here right now. If you're interested in doing this, will you just throw something down in the chat, yes or no, just so we can get an idea of whether we're wasting our time or not with this. Don't want to pressure anybody, but we would definitely like to know where kind of things stand with people that are in here, and we'll have to go to Twitter and scoop. I had at least 12 people on Twitter say they were going to do it.
Yeah, I have several.
Couz had several as well, so it's going to be a nice pot. I would imagine over $100, but so Jeremy Corey's already in.
Yeah, Jeremy's already in. He's already given me his money.
Okay.
I forgot to tell you that earlier. You and I hadn't really talked much today until now.
Right. And if it's only a few of us, that's fine. It'll still be fun.
Yeah, it's all mainly for. I mean, it's only, like I said, it's only $5, so we're not trying to break the bank here. A DraftKings pool, yeah. I didn't think about that. I guess you can do a pool. About every site's got pools now, don't they? ESPN's the only one I've ever done, so I'm familiar with it. I guess that's why I kind of stick to that one. I don't like, when it comes to technology, I don't handle change real well because I'm not great at it. So I got to go with what I know. But I'm sure there are better ones out there, to be honest. I just haven't ever used them. They say run your pools pretty good, but you got to pay to do that one. It's $1 per entry.
Is that how much it is? I was curious.
Well, you can have up to 15 people for free, but if you get over 15, it's $1 per entry.
Hmm.
So, Blake Green, Rhonda Reed, Randall Lowe, still in here. Chris is still in here. Thank you guys for sticking with us through this. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. Besides West Virginia, obviously, what other games are you all looking forward to seeing in this tournament? Because there's some very intriguing matchups in this tournament. Without having a bracket in front of me, it's hard to
look at that. Number 1 seed comparison. Kansas and Houston. Record 31-3 to 27-7. Net rank, Houston is 1, Kansas is 9. Quad 1 record. Houston was 7-2. Kansas was 17-7.
Wow. Because almost every game in the Big 12 is a quad 1 game.
Jacob Yoho said, "Can someone get in touch with me?"
Let us know how, brother, and we will.
What are you wanting us to get in touch with you for, Bob?
Did
he send you some money or something?
I don't know. Where's he at? There he is. Can someone? Yeah, just let us know how. Twitter. Reach out to me on Twitter. Reach out to me on Facebook. Couz's Corner. Twitter at Couz206. It's at the bottom of the screen there.
Yeah, or at Mountaineer Paul. If you just look up Mountaineer Paul, talks football, or I don't know. Is my name Mountaineer Paul or Mountaineer Paul talks football? I can't remember.
What's that?
One of the two. My name on Twitter.
It's Paul Mountaineer, but it's Mountaineer Paul. Yeah.
Yeah, or just that, and just DM me.
Blake Green says Stevenson is about to turn into Jimmer. Heard it here first. I hope so, man. That would be awesome.
I agree with Krista on that.
Jeremy says he's excited to see the East Bracket games. So glad we're not in it. Oops. I was trying to put Chris's comment up there. Of all the 1 seeds, Bama is the one I think we would match up good with. Yep. Cash at Paul for a mic fund. He actually has a built-in mic, I think, don't you? On your headset?
Yeah, is it not any good?
I don't know.
I know it doesn't look as fancy. I probably do need to get one. Yeah.
He said he
taking myself too serious.
Jeffrey said he sent you $5.
Oh, that was really nice of you, man.
To get for the pool.
I've definitely got a Cash App thing here. Let's see. Yes, I do, Jeffrey. Thank you, man. And that was really sweet of you, man. I appreciate that.
We're back.
Yeah, that was super nice of you.
Make sure you send him the code, which I haven't even given it to you yet, have I?
No, well, hey Jeffrey, I'll send you that. I'll send you the code here just in a second, or Couz can.
Yeah, one of us will. Well, I don't have his info. You're gonna have to send it to him because you've got his. You can just reply to his.
Curtis.
Yeah.
Curtis sent you something on PayPal, Couz.
All right, brother.
Oh yeah. As soon as you, Jeffrey, as soon as he gives me the code here, just as soon as we get off here, I'll send that to you.
Yep. They haven't posted the times yet, BB. They haven't posted just the days. We do play Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday.
We don't know the time or what network it'll be on yet because they split these games up between all the CBS owned networks, CBS, TBS, True TNT, True TV. Well, the CBS and Turner networks, I should say.
So, after the contract is up with March Madness this time, is that what your Mark's talking about monetizing? Obviously,
what's that now?
CBS has all. Well, CBS has all, pretty much every bit of March Madness, right?
Well, them and Turner, yeah.
So I think, is that what your Mark's probably looking at down the line whenever the contract runs out with this? You think that's what he's talking about monetizing?
He's talking when the current TV deal runs out.
Yeah,
we can't do it until the current TV deal runs out. He says when the current TV deal runs out, they want to look at separating football and basketball into two separate deals.
Jeffrey, yeah,
and the Olympic sports as well.
Yeah, I'll send it to you on Cash App.
I think you can send. I think you can send messages through Cash App, can't you?
I thought you could. If not, do you follow me on Twitter, Jeffrey? As a matter of fact, man. Okay. Jeffrey, just text me at 740-566-3851. And as soon as we get off here, or I'll have Couz text me now with the code, and then we'll give it to you.
I'll do that right now. Text your messenger.
My messenger.
The group.
Oh, that's
I'm texting it to. Well, never mind. You said you wanted it on Messenger.
it. Don't matter where. Either one. I am too, man. I'll be looking forward to getting our brackets in.
Yeah, I'm doing 2 of these.
Are you?
Yeah, one's for personal reasons. Password.
Did you get that number, Jeffrey?
Make sure I put that in right. Oop, I did it backwards. Hold on. I put the wrong code in. I was about to give you the wrong code. All right, Paul. I just messaged you the info to give to Jeffrey. And then I've got to get my PayPal account. I've got 2 PayPal accounts, a personal one and one for this channel. And I've got to switch back over to the other one before I can send a message to somebody else said they sent money in. Let me see who that was. Curtis.
Cole.
Curtis D said he sent me some money. So are we going to do a bracket prediction / Maryland preview? Yeah, we're going to try to. Absolutely. And what we may do as well, in order to go, because we're probably going to have to preview both games in one episode. We may bring Outlaw of College Football on to talk about Alabama, because he's an Alabama fan. If he can. If not, we'll try to bring somebody else on maybe. And if not, we'll do it ourselves. No biggie.
He's asking which bracket you're going to do, Couz. The one that closes before play in, or after play in?
Closes before. Oh, before. Well, I can give you the date. Hold on. Because I don't know when the playing game is exactly.
Most assuredly, yeah.
I know it's March 16th is the day that it closes. So whatever that.
Matter of fact, I'm going to get the research on Maryland as soon as we get off of here.
When's the playing games? What day? Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday.
Yeah, it's after the playing games then.
At least I'm pretty sure they are. I'm looking at them now. Friday. Mississippi State play Friday, and Pitt play Friday. So we played before them. That's interesting. I have to get back with you on that. I'm not actually sure.
Jeffrey said he was just going to text you.
Okay.
Randall.
Yeah. As soon as you text me, I'll give you the.
Randall, we're going to try. We may have to do where there's 2 games in 3 days. We might have to do two games in one episode, or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
He just means each game West Virginia's playing in.
Oh, well, yeah. We can't do every game, no, but we'll do every West Virginia game. Yeah,
that's what he was asking. Yeah.
I wish I thought
now once it gets down to I will be able to if Couz can't, but once we get down to the 16 and the 8, I think we could probably I could probably commit to doing like a 2 or 3 minute video on each game and just strengths, weaknesses, and maybe a pick. I could do that, but it would take some work.
Yeah, I mean, I might be able to help you, but I couldn't do them all because I just don't have the time.
Once we get down to 8 and 4, though, definitely, I think it would be worth our time.
My travel basketball team's starting. We're starting season now, so I'm gonna be tied up a lot in the evenings with that. So I won't have as much time to do research and make videos and really any of that stuff. So you guys will probably start seeing me more on here than you will my football channel for a while. Till we get through March Madness. Jeffrey said, did you get his text?
Yeah, I got it. I'm going to send it to him now.
Jeffrey, the password that you're going to get is all caps. Okay, make sure you put it on in all caps.
Yep, that's how you sent it to me. I just copied and pasted it, so
That's fine.
how you sent it.
Okay.
What's up, Civil Mark?
So what are they talking about now? So the West bracket overall seeding. We got them all up there
Yeah.
at once. Have they already done that with ours? Because if they did, I missed it.
I have not seen it yet. I think they're going in reverse order, so we should be last, maybe. I'm not exactly sure. We've been on here talking. I haven't paid much attention.
Okay.
No problem, BB.
I have to switch screens, so.
Wow, these dudes have already got their picks up.
Who does?
That's because they knew beforehand. Clark
Oh, really?
Kellogg has his Final Four. Yep. Wow, that's a heck of a Final Four. Not a Big 12 team in it. And there's going to be a lot of that. There's going to be a lot of that. Okay. I like Seth's a lot better. Wow.
Alabama, Xavier. I'm still on Clark's.
Yeah.
So he's got
That's why they
Gonzaga
did.
and Alabama in the national championship.
Could happen.
Interesting.
Definitely not too far fetched.
Nah, and he's got Gonzaga winning it all. Wow. Interesting.
Thanks, Randall, man. We
this isn't
appreciate
even-
you guys.
This isn't even one of their best teams that they've had.
Okay, Jeremy.
What do you say?
Got to run.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Hey, Jeremy, I'll send you that code here in a little bit.
Kansas win it all. Wow. Interesting.
Curtis, I'm sending you the code right now through PayPal. A couple of them have Kansas winning it, don't they?
Yeah. Well, that's a smart pick, man. You know, it really is. Although I think Texas they're going to be a trendy pick too.
Agreed.
I think Baylor, just talking about specifically Big 12 teams, I'm not as high on TCU without Eddie Lampkin, but I think Baylor's going to be trendy because they've got the guard play, and then you hear them talk about it all the time. Guards in the tournament win big,
Yep.
And I think it's hard. It's going to be really hard to find a better tandem of guards than what Baylor has in any given game. You start looking at what Texas has with Marcus Carr, who I think is the most undervalued player in the Big 12. He's such a good ball player. It gets exciting. Just Big 12 teams. That's not even getting outside the conference. It'll be really fun to look at it from try to be as unbiased as possible. Because in the past, in my brackets, I've had a tendency to be too Big 12 heavy. Because you get told you're the best, you believe it. And
Oh yeah.
I think if there was an SEC bracket football, I think people would do the same thing. But what I've begun to find out is really just the top heavy parts of the Big 12 that have won in the past. Just because Iowa State's a 6 seed and they played, they've won 19 games and beat a couple really good teams doesn't mean that I should put them in the Final Four like I have in the past.
Sorry, I'll send Jeremy that code.
Wow.
I forget.
That's crazy right there.
2.5 point favorites. Great. That's crazy.
And I think that'll probably get bigger before it gets a little smaller again.
Mm-hmm.
I think the money's going to pour in on us. I really do. We're going to be, you wait till you see, we're probably going to be trendy picks to get past Bama. I would say there'll be a lot of people picking us.
Yeah. And Jeffrey Foster, you can. It's $5 per bracket is the way it works. But yes, you can.
Yeah, you can definitely do what you want to do with that.
Feels good WVU got in so early. I agree, John. Usually we're in one of the last brackets and we're sitting there biting our fingernails wondering. We got it. They ripped the Band-Aid off right off the bat, didn't they?
Or it's like the 1 year when we legitimately probably should have been a 1 and we got a 3 or 2.
The Final Four year, people were saying we should have been a 1, and we ended up with I think we were a 2. We were a 2, and we weren't even the top 2. They put us in they put us as like the number 4 2. Because Hugs was complaining about it. They put us playing Duke, and they had us in Duke's bracket. Duke was the top number 1 seed that year, and we were supposed to have been the top 2 seed. So we should have never played Duke in the first place, really, if they had treated us fairly, at least in Hugs' eyes, anyway.
I don't know that we could have beat Butler either. I mean, they were really good with Gabe.
They were.
Gordon Hayward. They had 2 legitimate pro players on that team, and one thing we've struggled against during Hugs' tenure is teams that can really shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just the way it's been.
Yeah, Blake. Kevin Jones not winning Biggest Player of the Year is one of the biggest travesties in all sports.
Yeah, it was crazy.
The dude led the league in rebounds and scoring. How do you not win it? If you remember, I think it was all because they were leaving the conference because it was their last year in the conference and they didn't want them winning it.
Yeah, so they that's what I call the Bret Hart treatment. It's old Montreal screw job. Big East style.
Yeah. Run to Reach says, will Ticketmaster handle ticket sales? Old guys like me who refuse to get smartphones can't get in Ticketmaster events. I had to beg to see us play in UAB. Yeah, I don't know. Probably so. But you can also get them through you can usually get them through the secondhand market, like on StubHub and places like that, SeatGeek as well. You might have to pay a little more money for them, though, if you do that. And you might even be able to get tickets through the West Virginia University Athletic Department. Honestly, they may sell some tickets. I don't know how that works. It's a good question, though. Have you seen Maryland play this year, Paul?
I have. They play really.
What do they do well?
They play. They're really up tempo style of team. They shoot a lot of threes. I'd be lying if I told you I know players off their team. Off the top of my head, I only haven't seen them play one time, but I know stylistically what they like to do. They've got a couple really good big guys, but overall, they're really just a mediocre Big Ten team, and we took their best team and took them to the wire, So I'm really not too scared of them, but definitely want to give them their due respect. They're certainly in the tournament for a reason, but overall, they're an up tempo like to shoot the ball with a couple of good big guys. Mm-hmm. This is what I remember.
Silver Mark, West Virginia, I guess he's correcting me here, says we were a 2 seed, but Kentucky, he was the 1 to go to the Final Four. Yeah, that's right. Maybe it was Kentucky he was complaining about being in. Either way, he was not happy about being in the same bracket as somebody that year.
It was Duke and Kentucky. We played them both.
Yeah.
We played Duke in the Elite Eight, and that was Eric Bledsoe and DeMarcus Cousins. And then we played Kyle Singler and them boys in the Final Four. And that team that won the national championship
by 1 point over Butler. Man, I was cheering for Butler so hard that year.
Gordon Hayward barely missed that shot from half court.
I know. Zach E looks so impressive winning the Big Ten championship. They're going to be tough to beat.
Yep.
They are.
I agree.
But they're beatable. West Virginia could have beat them in that event early in the season had their team not been sick. And I mean, we still might not have beat them, but I think we can beat them. A lot of that is because of Jimmy Bell's big size. He's able to Edie can't push him around like he can most guys.
Yep. I'll tell you what. Yeah, he really, James is really coming to his own the last few weeks, and I'll be interested to see what he can do from a rim protection standpoint. Because I think he's not going to start, but I think you could definitely make an argument for him to start in the tournament. Does any? I haven't read it. I saw somebody ask about Mo earlier. I'm guessing he's probably not going to be healthy unless we make a deep run.
Probably not.
I haven't read much about it, but he's in a walking boot as early as our last game. So he would be a huge piece to get back, though, if we do get him back. We'll ask. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're right. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was going to say, we'll ask Ethan about that. Ethan Bach over WB Sports Now. He travels with the team everywhere. He comes on the show. Couz and I are both pretty cool with him. I'll ask Ethan about the health of Mo.
And by the way, guys, we're going to be doing another show with Ryan and Rush from the Ryan and Rush show who's coming Monday. So I don't know if it'll be on our channel or their channel, but be on the lookout for that. We're going to talk about
we really like them guys.
Big dance. Blake Green says they'll be being Furman in the Sweet 16. John Kelly.
That would be something else.
Yeah, it would be. Talking about Zach Edey had 27 and 30 in back-to-back games.
Yeah, he had 30 and 10 today.
Mississippi State and Pitt's a great playing game. Nevada, Arizona State.
Yeah. Just remember that energy, though, that energy Pitt had just not even a couple weeks ago. You might remember that. Was anybody here for it on Twitter? I had a battle with a few of them. I think it's kind of funny they're in a playing game.
Run to Reed says the 89 team was 27-5, got shafted, ranked 16 by the AP. They got a 10 seed and had to play Duke in Charlotte in the second round. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I was 9 years old, and I didn't really follow it that closely at that point in my life. I remember listening to games with my dad on the radio, but I didn't follow the team as close as I do now. And I did watch tournament. I do remember watching tournament games though. Back then, I just wasn't as serious about it as a 9-year-old. Too busy playing video games or something.
Couple interesting notes on Maryland guys. So they were projected to finish 10th in the preseason Big Ten preseason media poll. So they, by that standard, they had a very successful season. And they shattered those expectations. They were 10-0 in home conference games and finishing for a tie with 5th place in the Big Ten. That's interesting. 10-0 in a conference home games. That's a really interesting little stat about them.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God we're not in the DC area for this.
Yeah,
game.
really, no kidding. Civil Mark says out of the 4 number 1 seeds, he thinks West Virginia has the best chance against Alabama. Paul's been saying the same thing.
Yeah. They've got one player that could be, you could argue he's the best player in the tournament, all the way down to top 3 or 4, in Miller. And now, then they've got a couple other really good players too, but nothing that we haven't seen the Big 12 game in, game out.
Right.
Like what they feature is what we see game in, game out, except for the one aberration, and that's Miller. And we see him too. We whether it's Jalen Wilson or Mike Miles or anybody you want to throw out there on every Big 12 team we play. Marquise Noel.
Marcus Carr.
Yeah, just let's just rattle them off. We've seen his,
Sherfield from Oklahoma.
Who gave them the business when they played.
Cal Shear from Iowa State. I mean, go down the list, man. But Miller's probably as good as most of those guys, or many of them anyway. Curtis said he's
So-
unimpressed with Alabama. Day off between games will help keep our legs and energy level up. I agree, John.
Jameer Young averages almost 20 points a game for Maryland. 3.2 point assists and 1.3 steals. They've got they're one of their bigs averages 11.5 a game. And they've got a sophomore that's averaging 11.2 points a game and 11, 7, and 2 blocks a game. And Julian Reitz is his name. Just the initial kind of research, just looking through what their resume was. They were really high in the KenPom all year. They never really fell below 35, 40 in the KenPom all year, or NAT. So they were looked upon with pretty whatever you want to call that, all year long. So
that's like we were, basically.
Yeah.
So it should be a good, interesting matchup.
I agree. If you weren't here for it earlier, man, but I made the comparison between those two. Miller is he's their Eric Stevenson. He is a really emotional player. They feed off of him. He's young too. But he reminds me of Eric in that he cries a lot, when you really don't want him to after fouls. Eric does that. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like he doesn't get upset over the occasional foul. But so does Miller. They're very similar, like emotionally on the court. I think that's going to be interesting to watch. Let me get out of my psychology chair now.
Crystal says people shouldn't sleep on Marquette. I totally agree. They're winning at their time. Tristan's Farm Adventures. When will we know what time West Virginia plays on Thursday? I would keep checking on all the West Virginia sports sites, whether it be West Virginia Sports Now, whether it be WVUsports.com, whether it be Blue Gold News, any of them, and that you should be able to. One of them will eventually update it. I'm not sure when they'll actually be announced, though.
I agree with that, Pat Mullins. Penn State's probably coming into this tournament, one of the 5 hottest teams in America coming into this tournament. I mean, they were really on fire towards the end of the year. They, 2-3 weeks ago, they were on anybody's radar. They were solidly out of the tournament. So for them to go on the run they did the end of the year, to get over 20 wins, to take Purdue down to the last possession in that game today, I think you're right. I think you're onto something there. They're a good basketball team. They play in a better conference. So I think all those things are really, really true.
John, you're right. The Big Ten's probably not used to our style of play. How the games are officiated in this tournament could go a long way in how well we do.
Wow.
If we're allowed to get physical, play physical, then I think we got a good chance.
2 big differences. I don't want to get all away before we do a video, but let's just say we don't ever do this. I promise. We don't ever just rush and get prepared for a video and just do it. We never do that, do we, Couz?
No.
But if I was going to do that, I would say these are 2 things to really watch. Kevin Willard is 1-5 in NCAA tournaments in his career. That's number 1. But number 2, even bigger, Maryland's biggest downfall this season. It was 2-9 on the road, with its only wins away coming at Minnesota, who was 217 in the KenPom, and Louisville, who was 295 in the KenPom. Those are its only road away wins. Now, you can argue that Birmingham is probably as far away from home as you want to get from them. So
how they do in neutral site games? Does it say? Or did they play any neutral site games?
Let me look. Neutral site games, they were 3-2.
Okay.
Who do they play? Let's see. They lost to Indiana in the Big Ten quarterfinals. It's the only one they have listed. So I'd say they probably did 1 or 2 in the beginning of the year, like we did in one of those tournaments, and then probably had a game or 2 in the Big Ten tournament.
Right.
But so
when
you add those 2 things up, that means they were 5-11 on away and neutral side games. I'll take it.
Pat Mullen says St. Mary's out of 5 is insane. I don't know how you don't go to VCU. Plus, I like UConn over Kansas to get to the Elite Eight. UConn's a good team. Could definitely happen.
They've got some good bigs on that team.
Josh thinks WU should have been a higher seed. John thinks it's because they lost those games early in the conference play, which is true. And then, but Josh still thinks we should have been higher than Iowa State, who he feels we had a better resume than. And that's a good argument. That's a fair argument for sure.
I mean, we beat them solidly
twice. Did we beat them twice?
Twice, yeah, we beat them twice. And they're without probably their third best player in Caleb Grills, who was just unexpectedly released from the team. Yeah. Although they seem to have played a little better since they lost him, which was that can happen. You can have addition by subtraction.
But didn't they beat Kansas?
They did. They did earlier in the year.
They've probably got some better wins than us. That might be the difference. I don't know.
They're a lot like we are, really. When you look at their roster, they don't have as many gifted scorers as we do, but they play a really tough style of ball. What's his name? Jaron Williams, is that his name? The dude that's got like the neck beard, the black.
I think so, yeah.
He's really kind of funny looking dude, but he can play. Anyway, he is an annoyance. I hate playing against him, but he's a senior guard. They're a tough out. They're going to be a tough out too, and somebody to watch in the tournament. But I do agree our resume was probably a little better overall.
Agreed.
Yeah, Pat Mullins, TCU center, is still out. And listen, we just made the same point about Gonzaga and Eddie Lampkin being out of that game.
Yep.
Drew Timme.
Trying to find that guy's name, Paul, that you were talking about.
Oh, okay.
Jaron Holmes.
Jaron Holmes. Yeah.
I was thinking it was Holmes, but I didn't want to say it until I looked it up because I wasn't 100% sure.
Yep.
Yeah, Lampkin's done. He's leaving the team apparently.
Yep. And some speculation that he might end up in Morgantown. Actually, I was reading. Yeah.
Interesting.
He would be a great pickup for us, but I don't know how good him and Jimmy would get along since Jimmy did him in when they played.
Right.
Jimmy had his best game as a Mountaineer against Penn. What he had 18 and 11 or something like that.
Something like that. Civil says we play 6 games in a row like we play against Kansas State. We could bring the title to WV. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not counting on it, but it can happen.
I'm not afraid of anybody outside of Texas and
Kansas. Yeah,
they're just bad matchups for us. Now, on any given day, we can win, but we have to play so well to beat those teams. Like I love the optimism and everything, guys. I'm not trying to be negative or anything like that, but in order for us to beat some of those higher level teams this year, we have to play really well. Eric has to be 25-point Eric, but we also need Emmett and Trey to be 20-point Emmett and Trey. And they have to miss, but if we can do it, it's definitely possible.
Maryland's neutral site losses were against Tennessee and UCLA. Tennessee by 3 and UCLA by 27. Thanks for sharing that, Run to Read. So I mean, both tournament teams, both top 4 seeds. So that, I mean, those are not bad losses at all. Now, you could say 27 points is a bad loss to anybody. You can make that argument. WVU 2 and 11.
You can get in.
Point under 75. Yeah, Tennessee's the 4 seed in their bracket.
Not that they get in, but what was their seed?
Yeah, I say that. Not sure I'd put my money on. Just saying.
Right, I know what you mean, Mark.
Jacob says he has WVU playing Houston in the championship game. I like that optimism, Jacob. I'm not as optimistic as you, my friend.
It'd be a nice talking point.
I will not be picking West Virginia to win the national championship. Okay, sorry. I'm not.
I do think a realistic thing to think is I think Sweet 16 is very possible for this team.
I think so.
Be
tough, but it's doable.
I mean, obviously, we're going to be favored against Maryland, and if we play Alabama, we won't be favored in that game. But a lot of people would pick us, I think. Maybe they wouldn't.
Yeah. You got anything else you want to touch on, Paul, before we jump off of here, man? It's been an almost an hour and a half. So,
Yeah, just if you're not subscribed already, guys, please give us your subscription. We're going to cover every West Virginia game of the tournament, certainly, and probably beyond. I'll do my best to do that. Get with Couz and see if we can't work on that. And also, guys, don't forget we both have football channels. Mountaineer Paul Talks Football and Couz's Corner. Come see us, guys. Come visit us. We drop that content too.
absolutely. Yeah, check us out. We appreciate you guys hopping on here. It's been a good show. We appreciate everybody's participation. And for those of you, the bracket contest will be open until the 16th. If any of you decide you want to do it, if you missed the comment I made where I put our cash tags and PayPal stuff on there, just hit us up on Twitter or Facebook or wherever. We'll get you the code and you can get in the contest on ESPN.
That's pretty realistic, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Randall, we appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. We do. Thanks, John Kelly. Thanks, Jeffrey. Thanks, Pat, Randall,
Krista,
Jacob, Civil Mark, Run to Read, Joshua.
all you guys, man.
Curtis D., Tristan's Farm Adventures. We thank you all for hopping on here. I don't want to leave anybody out. Krista, Blake. We appreciate everybody in the chat. BPA 1985. We thank everybody. We look forward to bringing you guys our Maryland preview and hopefully an Alabama preview as well. And we will see you then. We're out.